Aloha once again, friends and family, and welcome back to the channel. Let's break down a little bit today the difference between the Great Reset and the quantum financial system, because there's a lot of fear and panic starting to happen out there with people that are only seeing the Great Reset side of it. And we're in a mirror operation, and with a mirror operation, looks like my camera jig's moving. Hope it doesn't fall down. Try not to shuffle it too much here. Tighten it up. In a mirror operation, what's happening is just what it says. Mirror. You're mirroring, or we're mirroring an operation so that the two things can be looked at from two angles, and you might not know which angle you're looking from, or a simpler way to understand that might be timeline. There's two timelines for this financial situation that's happening, and they mirror each other. So on the one hand, if you're on one timeline or are looking from one perspective, you might say it's Armageddon. They're gonna bring in digital ID. Sorry, I keep looking at my rig here. It looks like it's moving, and then it's just gonna fall, but hopefully not. But you know what I mean? You get that whole perspective of it. It's the mark of the beast. It's Antichrist related. It's all in the Bible. And it's just a trip to me that people continually want to invoke the Bible to inadvertently, on their part, hope for Armageddon to come about, just because they don't perhaps understand the metaphysics of the book. So, and they've been taught, everybody was taught to externalize the Bible and look at it completely externally, and not really look at it as a spiritual metaphysical book that is actually about you in the state of I am, or in your state of I amness. So there's all this fear and concern on the one hand, but in the very same mind of that person, there's also this expectation and maybe even desire, right? Because you would ask them, well, would you want the Bible to not be true, or would you want the Bible to not come about if what you were understanding from the Bible was that your world is about to collapse and that everything's going to shit, everything's going to hell? And see, if your misconceptions about the Bible are all externalized, then you're in hypocrisy, or you're in duality. Because on the one hand, you don't want all that stuff to come about, but on the other hand, you're cheerleading it, because you say, well, it's in the Bible, so all this terrible crap's going to happen. All right, let's look at the positive side, or from the other timeline. From the other timeline, the quantum financial system is being implemented, mirroring the collapse of the old system that, yes, the bad guys are bringing about and doing on purpose. The bank collapse, purpose. The Fed rate hikes, purposeful. the devaluing of the dollar, purposeful. Because yes, they did want to bring in their system, which was digital bank currencies. Everybody would be forced to conduct business in their system that they control. And just like with Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and all the other corrupted mega corporations, if they didn't like what you were saying, if you weren't cheerleading the fake news that they constantly put out, then you would be silenced, right? On those platforms, like we've seen and still continue to see, really. You got to be careful what you say, right? Because, ooh, you might be using your freedom of speech, and that's bad for democracy. So, my understanding is that the white hats are in control of the quantum financial system. The quantum financial system, again, is coming in to replace the old system. And although there are banks out there that do have digital currencies, our team was already ahead of the banks in that they already had cryptocurrencies put out there, decentralized currencies. And if you have looked into this deeply, then you know that a revaluation, or an RV, has been going on for some time now. And so when this new system comes about, certain cryptocurrencies, well, I believe all of them, will be backed by precious metals again. So there will be the backing for the currencies. So it's not going to be the central bank's digital currency. That's not going to be backed by precious metal. The ISO 20022 compliant coins, which is another way of saying banks that are Basel III compliant, which is another way of saying banks that will interface with the quantum financial system, are all going to be live here in a few days on March 20th. As you know, if you're into the crypto space at all, you know that one of the corrupt arms of the corrupt government has been waging war against XRP for 2 years now. And it just so happens that we're just about ready at any moment now to get the judge's ruling in the case with XRP, which is magically going to free it up from its wrongful designation as a security, and it's going to become clear and known that it's a digital currency. XRP as well as XLM are both ISO 20022 coins that will absolutely be a couple of the backbones of the digital currencies that run on the quantum financial system. Now again, if you look into this and you find out that, well, all these companies, different companies, they're involved with this, and these guys over here are involved with this, and it's this huge sort of a web where it's the internet of finance. And so that scares the hell out of a lot of people, and they say, well, look at all these corrupt companies or what have you. But they're not understanding that a lot of these companies have already been dealt with, in that they've gone in to have a chat with the people that were guilty of criminal activities, gave them options, had them sign NDAs until everything was ready. And when ready is, nobody really knows or knew, because the dark side would make their move, the white hats would make their move. The dark side would make their move, the white hats would make their move. And the white hats have been making their moves in large part based on Trump's executive orders when devolution occurred because of the stealing that went on, and the powers of the government, the lawful government, let us say, went to the highest echelons of the military. All right, so the quantum financial system is decentralized, but it's also going to be protected. And think of it as you know how we say the pictures on your phone are stored in the cloud. Well, the quantum financial system is stored in the cosmic cloud through Starlink. So I see how people could see all of this and be new to it, and look at a couple of verses in the scripture and think they've put it all together and be like, oh my God, Armageddon, end of the world, the beast, all that stuff. And just be, again, you're gonna help co-create whatever your thoughts and beliefs are. So if those are your thoughts and your beliefs, you're working for the dark team and you don't even know it, because you're saying with your mouth, I work for Team White, but your thoughts and your beliefs are enforcing and empowering that which you say that you do not want. You're in duality. And your timeline is going to unfold according to that. It's very difficult to explain to someone how different timelines exist and operate. Because even just to understand the stuff that we've talked about so far is difficult to comprehend until you get to a certain degree of consciousness. So it's almost pointless to try to explain how different timelines work, because if you're not at a certain degree of consciousness, that's not going to make any sense to you, and you're just going to shrug your shoulders and go back into duality consciousness, where you can listen to the talking heads, watch the fake news, decide who you think the bad guy is, decide who you think the Antichrist is, sit around making bets about who the Antichrist is. And a lot of people say that's Trump, I don't know if a lot of people do, but there's people out there that think that Trump is the Antichrist. So hopefully that helps. Again, it's difficult to break down how two different timelines would work. But if you just meditate on that term, mirror operation. What would a mirror operation be? How would that work? You know, they're going to look very similar because they're paralleling each other. And of course, with unity consciousness and understanding it and how reality comes to be through the thoughts of the mind, it then becomes a little bit easier to realize that both timelines can play out. Both timelines can play out. It's simply going to be a matter of which timeline you find yourself on. And I'm telling you that what determines that is your thoughts and your beliefs. Because it's impossible for the Creator through us to manifest and bring about anything other than what we're thinking and believing, because that is the law of free will and motion and action. And it makes, to me, this all makes very clear sense, but I harken back to when I didn't understand stuff so well either, and I see how easy it is to fall into that confusion. And again, that's nothing but duality consciousness that allows that or causes that. You know, a lot of people have some misconceptions. They're not completely off track about this or that. Let's say the Bible, things in the Bible. They're not completely off track with it, but just a few misconceptions that still are running programming through the subconscious mind, unbeknownst to their conscious mind. And that is bringing about experiences and things in their reality that they wouldn't want if they could but only figure out how to eliminate it. And the way to eliminate it is to come into unity consciousness. And the only way to get to unity consciousness is by clearing the subconscious, clearing those old programs, clearing the distortions, clearing the fear, clearing the angers or resentments that perhaps you still hold against your parent from when you were a child, and your parent did something to you that was just damn wrong and you knew it was, but they thought they were right and they blamed you and this happened and you just have always remembered that. All that kind of stuff. All of that has to be cleared. And so that there is a clean, fresh, let us say, operating system that is the subconscious mind. And then now, with all that gone, and you're in clarity in your consciousness, in your now consciousness, there's a word for it I'm missing, but think of the mind as a whole as a iceberg. Okay, your subconscious is most of the iceberg below the surface. But your mental consciousness is that little tip of the iceberg sticking up. And that has been given power and charge, if you will, over the subconscious, which everything comes from. All your manifesting, all your creation, all your experiences, everything that unfolds in your life is being created in real time from your OOS, original operating system, which me and a friend sort of jointly coined the term. Okay? So again, get the lower part of the iceberg cleared up and free of distortion. Now your conscious mind, the tip of that iceberg, can communicate clearly to that subconscious mind from which all things come. And it's really not so much a commanding willpower transaction or interface, but it's one of mutual love. Mutual love, because both you and God operate from love if you're operating at your highest. We know God is always operating at the highest level of love, right? So we come into full agreement with that. All right? And we, through intentions, not through will and force and might and yelling like a commander at it to do this and do that, but through loving intention, we communicate with that deeper part of self, of consciousness, of the iceberg. And then the master key, part of the master key, receive. Then you must consciously receive that which you have requested of God, or of the subconscious mind, or of the cosmic mind. You receive it, and see, whatever you're able to receive, that's what manifests. That's what will manifest. So let us say let's use something simple. Let's say you say, I want $1 billion. I want $1 billion. And you try to impress that upon your subconscious mind. Can you receive that? So we come back to your conscious mind. Could you really see yourself receiving that? Would there be little doubts in there that would say, well, I don't know if you're actually worthy of $1 billion. That's a lot of money. Or what have you done to deserve $1 billion? Or what is your job or vocation that would justify you getting the $1 billion? You see what I'm saying? So just because you can say it with your mouth or think it with your mind does not mean you can receive it. So whatever you're impressing upon your subconscious mind, you must be able to receive it for real. And you can develop this to any degree. There's a portion of scripture where Jesus says every place that your foot treads will be yours, essentially. I'm paraphrasing. Every place that your foot treads will be yours. Meaning, if you could get to the degree of your consciousness and the unity consciousness, again, unity, the unity of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, or you and God, get on the same page, where you could come to realize that everything in this universe, God is happy to give to you, happy for you to experience everything, the best of everything, abundance, because this universe is massively abundant, right? So work on your degree of consciousness, work on the cleanliness of your subconscious, unify the two, and see if you do not experience the power of God and the power to manifest and the power to bring about anything that you can conceive of, anything that you can think of, if you can receive it. And that's just really another way of saying, if you really, really do believe it, or if there's that faith thing of the Bible. If you have faith that the mountain will move, the mountain will move. It's true. It's true. And there's a story in a book I read recently where the old lady said, okay, I'm going to put that to the test. I'm praying that mountain, a literal mountain outside her place there in the distance, I'm praying that mountain be taken down. And she prayed that before she went to bed. And when she woke up, she ran to the window and looked out there. and said, I knew it would still be there. But see, right there, she gave herself away. She didn't really believe that the mountain would be removed. She just was playing around with the power, but she didn't have the power to, she didn't have the receptive part built in. She had not got her degree of consciousness high enough to truly receive the mountain being removed, right? So that's how it works. Don't panic. Don't give any thoughts or intentions or beliefs to any kind of negativity. I don't care if it comes out of the Bible. You might be misconceived, or you might have a misconception. This is the Great Awakening. This is the implementation of heaven on earth. This is the moment of human consciousness evolution. And they will gladly take that from you if they can merely get you on their negative timeline to where you find yourself veering away from heaven on earth onto that timeline where all that bullshit takes place that you were expecting and people are repeating again because they don't understand a few things, because they have some misconceptions. Understand the cosmic law. It works the same all the time for every person. So if you want to know if you have a misconception about something, be it from the Bible or anything else, compare it to the cosmic law. Put it in the light of the cosmic law, and you will get clarity. You'll see if it fits or if it doesn't fit. Hope this helps, my friend. We got a lot coming. A lot's going to happen. You know, the dark side is going to do everything they can to get everybody they can back into that hysteria mode of fear, of the boogeyman's going to get you, whether it's a virus or your bank or your food or your on and on and on and on. But who do you rely on? Who are you trusting? Who do you really rely on? And if you're not relying on the God within, it's time to start, because that's where all of our abundance in this life proceeds from. Right directly through your mind, your thoughts, your intentions. Oops. Love, unity, and light. Until we meet again, my beautiful friends and family.